And yet another small incident from the young boys, the under-19s, has sparked off a discussion about the run-out. Shall we just refer to it as the run-out by the at the non-striker's end?
Correct.
We don't have a name for it.
But that's what it should be. Otherwise, you would call running out your partner and inzamaming it. You don't call it inzamaming it, do you? So, I mean, why call it by any Indian, great Indian all-rounder's name?
Interesting if we started going back to the first time someone did something and you call that. I know the Chinaman also had that, and that's slowly been eased out.
China's been eased out. The guy wrote a great article about it and said,
the Mankad family has given a written submission that they don't like the fact that a run out at the back end, especially something which for no reason at all has a stigma attached to it. There's no reason except the non-striker is the one who should be feeling stupid, not anybody else. To attach a name to that is something I'm not very happy about that.
Although if it's
like Bollywood, no one likes to call it that way, but everyone does.
Are you okay with a stroke being named after the first person, like a Dil Scoop?
Yeah, for a positive reason.
For a positive reason. Yeah. If it's for a positive reason, it's fine.
But I don't understand the debate behind this at all.
So let's go why the debate actually started. We know why it started. So first thing was Jimmy Anderson saying, can we sort out, remove this law, please? And he also put out that clip of the Afghanistan player running out the Pakistan player in the under-19 quarter-final. Then Ashwin replied, law removal might need some deliberation. A shredder might do the trick for now.
That's for the picture that went in and got shredded. But
it's terrible.
It's a
There's
really
a reason
bad taste.
Jimmy Anderson is not a very liked player around the world. That picture shredding Ashwin, because he legally, as per the law, given out by an ICC elite panel umpire for a batsman who is a habitual offender for standing outside the crease, to put his picture in a shredder was very, very, very poor.
Certainly was. But in terms of the actual laws, we've talked about it a lot. Let's just quickly take you back to that and see what the previous law, 42-15, that enabled the bowler to run out the non-striker before the delivery. In the light of much publicity and controversy, the law has been thoroughly debated, with two changes being made. One, extending the point at which the run-out of the non-striker can be attempted to the instant at which the bowler would be expected to deliver the ball. This will have the effect of keeping the non-striker in her ground for longer.
I have absolutely one simple question, and to go on in that.
Yeah, changing the title of the law to put the onus on the striker to remain in her ground. It is often the bowler who is criticised for attempting such a run out, but it's the batsman who is actually attempting to gain an advantage. So we've been keeping an eye on the batsman.
And that's not our language. For some reason, the MCC make the laws, which I disagree with in the first place. The ICC should be making the laws, but that quote is from the MCC. That's not from Cricbuzz. That's from MCC. That it is the batsman who is attempting to gain an advantage, as batsmen have for the last 75-80 years. It's interesting that Bradman was the first one to say what Mankad did was not wrong and what Brown did was wrong. I don't understand what the debate is. I mean,
it's a non-debate for me as well. I mean, okay, I have a very simple question. If a batsman is standing outside his crease, way outside his crease to bat, okay, and therefore as a result gets stumped, do you say something that that's an unfair tactic, that he's got stumped? Why did you get him out? He's just standing outside his crease. Why is it difference between a striker and a non-striker? That's one. Two is that you are getting an advantage. If I am 1 yard down the pitch, I have 21 yards to run. So I'm getting up this thing. So if that's the case, I have one great idea. Let's for this IPL say that every time you're outside your crease when the ball is delivered, you already have a third umpire now. Let's call it a run shot. Every time a batsman is outside his crease, okay, when the ball is delivered, it should be a one shot. Why? Because you call no balls. When he's over pitching, you call a no ball. So call a one shot saying that if a run is scored in this one, if 3 runs are scored, 1 run will be taken off. If a boundary is hit, there'll be 3 runs. Then see how much they can. What difference does it make for you to keep your bat in your crease?
I want to actually see footage one day, and I'm sure someone can put it together, of a split screen, of a locked off screen at the non-striker's end, where the batsman is 6 inches outside his crease before the ball has been delivered.
How often it happens?
And then he runs to the striker's end and makes his ground by an inch.
Exactly.
By an inch, and therefore goes on to win the game. If that is not cheating, I don't know what cheating is, because he's cheated 5 inches. So the spirit of the game is actually broken by the person who wants to run less than the legally permissible limit in order to score a run. So I simply, for the life of me, cannot understand. I've heard people say you must warn somebody, or you must tell someone, you know what, if you do that again, I'll run you out. I can imagine there's a ball going up in the air and the batsman says, oops. The fielder says, next time you hit that in the air, I'm going to catch it. I mean, there's a law there for a reason. So I absolutely cannot understand which cave people are living in to say, warn someone.
I know one of our friends in the community, both of analysis and as a player, Murli Karthik, used to have a very strong point of view on that, because in county cricket in England, he got
booed. And he got booed off the field
because he had a reputation for having done that more often than not to many of his close friends in the county circuit, and he stood his ground, and he stands his ground to this day for the very same point. He says, I have a certain number of yards that I bowl to, you have the same number of yards you should be running to. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And that's my point, that to stop this from happening, you don't need to do any trickery. All you need to do is keep your bat behind this thing. The bowler can't do anything.
So one of the things people have said is that the bowler will now come in with the objective of running the non-striker out, right? So that is why if you go back to the graphic, it says at the point at which the ball was normally delivered. So earlier, as soon as you got in your delivery stride, they could go. Now it's at the point at which it's normally delivered. Now that I still think makes it a little ambiguous. What is the point at which it is normally delivered? In the Butler incident, Ashwin said, I had not finished loading up my action yet. So I was not yet at the point at which the ball is normally delivered, so I could run him out. But at what is that point? For a fast bowler, is it here? For a spinner, is it here? What is that point? So I'd like the law to just be, till the ball leaves the bowler's hand, you're supposed to be inside the crease. Now, what if someone says, oop, and then runs him out? Batsman, you still stay inside your crease till the ball leaves the bowler's hand. That is how I would like it to be, to ensure that there's not much. But I'm not an umpire. I mean, every time I speak to Simon Taufel, he's actually told me that he's going to charge me every time I ask him a doubt. But every time he seems to have different perspectives. I'd love to ask an umpire's perspective on what the reason for the law is. But to me, it seems till the ball leaves the hand, you stay inside your crease.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, because again, if you go into interpretation, and just going back to the last instance that's happened with the Afghanistan player, if you were to interpret it that way, then there would be a lot of ambiguity, because in that case, he hadn't actually gone to his delivery stride. He was here and he ran him out.
But look, it is impossible to judge intent. It's very easy to judge whether the batsman was.
But even if the intent is running out, what's the problem?
That's exactly. It's impossible to judge intent.
All you need to do is be as.
When was I loading this thing? What was my mind thinking? Did my mind change at that particular point in time? Did I suddenly come back? Leave it all. Keep your bat in the crease. There's no argument.
The reason this was part of convention in the first place was that the batsman normally at the non-strikers end starts to take a start in search for a single. He doesn't know that he's inside or outside. He's not trying to steal territory. It's just that in the process of doing that, he's leaving the crease. So he's, without realizing it, he's left the crease. Without realizing it, you can do so many things, right? And can you go into the High Court and say, without realizing, I duped my customer of so much money, so I didn't intend to? No, the law is there. So if you're standing outside the crease, say, sorry, I made a mistake. I'd go so far as to say that if a bowler does not run a batsman out, he's giving the batsman a life.
And that's tough to his own team.
Yeah, that's tough, because when you're bowling, your eyes are not actually there. But I mean, okay, I've said what I think. People might think I'm on a stuck record.
No, I think it's made an excellent point. In fact, to add to Harsha's point about the laws and the interpretation and the ball leaving the hand, I actually like Joy's suggestion of trying to call it one shot, because if you're running from the non-striker to the striker's end and you happen to put your bat down short of the crease and come back, it will be one shot. So why can't it be one shot to start with, because you've gained those yards? So I think
will tell one last thing, though. I know I keep saying I've said what I had to say. All you guys watching it, watch every time there is a front foot no ball check when you go to the DRS.
And see where the
look how it used to be 2 years ago. 2 years ago, every time you're checking the front foot, the bat used to be outside the crease. Post Ashwin getting Butler out, now watch what happens 90% of the time. That's a number top of my head. The bat is inside the crease. So already the effect is starting to show. People are staying inside their crease.